What's up, everybody out there, and welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. It's your man, Governor Wildstar. What's up? Hey, I appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's episode. Let me slow down and speak a little more clearly. Because I was supposed to have Dr. Joe Jorgensen on the show, who is the Libertarian candidate for President of the United States. I'm still waiting for her to jump into the session. Hopefully, if she is available, she'll be able to jump into this broadcast. But in the meantime, unfortunately, my guest is not here, so I'll just be shooting the breeze with you all out there and talking some shit as I usually do. If you want to ask any questions or drop a comment, of course, just do so. And I'll be sure to pop that up on the screen and, we can converse a bit. Because like I said, unfortunately, Dr. Jorgensen, Joe Jorgensen, Libertarian candidate for the presidential, Libertarian candidate for President of the United States is supposed to be here. So if at any moment she does jump in, we'll start talking to her. But in the meantime, let's you and I talk. What's going on out there, people, because it's a lot going on. Of course, I would love to connect with any and all of you that are out there watching. I appreciate you for, tuning into this video as well as watching any of my other sharing, helping me spread the word, letting more people know about my activism and what I'm attempting to do as a political candidate, which I am. A lot of people don't know that. Yes, I am an actual candidate for governor of California. Hold on, that one right there. Okay. Was a previous candidate in 2014, 2018, plan again on running again in 2022. And I need all the support from you. I also ran for mayor of Fresno and city council in Fullerton. So if you want to look up any of my information, just Google me. You want to see this lovely face behind this mask, just Google me. Although a lot of people ask me, why am I wearing a mask? Why do I have my flag upside down? A whole bunch of other things. But like I said, if you want to find out more about me, just drop a question or a comment. Looks like I got a few. That one dude says, Governor Wildstar came through with this. What's up? Welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. I appreciate you, my fellow being of light, art, culture, and knowledge up in the house. Says, really hoping she taps in to discuss the Black community and our concerns, needs, and issues. I would like that as well. Like I said, hopefully at any point she'll jump in here, and it looks as if she may. Nicole Giver says, have you seen the actions the Australian government has taken to enforce stay-at-home orders? Yes, it's quite awful, and they are taking extreme draconian measures out there in Australia, telling people that they need to stay home, sending people door to door. They've actually started that here in Ventura, California. So it's happening in the United States already, and expect it to happen more and more. But yeah, that one dude says love from Northeast Ohio. I appreciate you. Thank you. Much love to you as well, brother man. But like I said, I will like to continue the conversation with Dr. Joe Jorgensen, who will be jumping in here just a moment. It looks as if she's in the studio. So because she is a very busy woman, I want to respect her time. So let's go ahead and jump her into the session here. Dr. Jorgensen, are you with me there? Hello, Joe.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for waiting on me. I really appreciate that.
Oh, no problem at all. Hey, it gives me a moment to just rabble, as I usually do. But I appreciate you for jumping in on the Black Side of the Liberty, Dr. Joe Jorgensen, Libertarian presidential candidate of the United States of America. So I know you are a very busy woman, and I do have a few questions for you, which are kind of straightforward and to the point. So please forgive me. I don't mean any disrespect, and I hope that you aren't one that, isn't thin-skinned or take things personally.
I certainly wouldn't be putting myself out there if I were.
That's good to know, especially as a candidate. I've been through the ringer myself, so I know exactly how it is. So, yeah, basically, I was just introducing, the audience to you, letting them know that if they happen to have any questions or comments, to just drop them on the screen. But like I said, I do have some questions myself I would like to have answered. So if you do see those, comments or questions pop up on the screen, don't mind them as much, okay? But you're welcome to talk to the people as well. But first and foremost, Dr. Joe Jorgensen, can you tell the people out there, who are you? Because they want to know. A lot of people don't know. So let's tell them all about you.
Well, I'm someone who believes that the people making the laws should have to live under them. That's the first thing. And the reason that I'm running for government is because government is too big, too bossy, too nosy, too intrusive. And the worst part is it often hurts those they try to help.
Yeah, you're right about that. Especially right now, we just see government becoming more intrusive ever than before. They are taking over our civil liberties, our individual rights as human beings. We're being forced to wear masks of all things.
and you are.
Yes, indeed. I might as well take advantage of the situation and have some fun, right?
Well,
but hey, like I said, a lot of people out there don't know much about you and your tenure, as well as your background, and that you ran for office before. So I think that information is a little bit, I guess, pertinent to those people that do want to know.
Sure. So I'm a longtime libertarian. I ran for U.S. House in South Carolina in 1992. I was Harry Brown's VP running mate in 1996. In fact, I was one of the few women, let's say, on the ballot in all 50 states as of 1996. Since then, we've seen Sarah Palin and Hillary Clinton, of course, on the ballot. And I'm a senior lecturer at Clemson University. I've got a PhD in industrial organizational psychology, and I teach psychology.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you can get into the minds of some of these people that are stuck in this.
Yeah. Well, let me disclaimer. I'm not a clinical psychologist. I'm an industrial psychologist. However, I can do a little bit of that.
It's needed. I mean, especially right now, you got the mind on the left and the mind on the right, and it kind of needs to be, I guess, riddled through just to figure out where we can find some common ground, because that's what's happening with the Republicans and Democrats. They seem to be tearing we the people apart and driving a wedge between us, and it's awful. So we see what's happening right now with these reopen protests that have actually started way back when the coronavirus lockdowns have begun. And we've also seen civil arrests done in the community due to, police abuse and the George Floyd killing that happened to spark these protests and riots even throughout the country. So you have the divide amongst the many, and you got the people that are pro-mask, the people that are anti-mask, and you got a lot going on in the country right now. So with Trump being in office, he is the president, and people don't really like his performance. You have those people that are supportive of it and appreciate it. But then, the majority seems to think he's doing a shitty job at keeping America great or making it great in any way, shape, or form. Don't really have any, confidence in Biden doing the job. So if you were elected president, Dr. Joe Jorgensen, right now, with all of what's going on in its calamity and chaosness, what would you do right now about what's going on?
Well, first of all, I would do whatever I could to get us all from underneath house arrest. The fact that we were basically told to stay home and we couldn't go to our jobs, we couldn't see our families, is just the largest assault on our liberty that I've seen in my lifetime. And I would stop giving the corporations and large companies huge buckets of money from the government. People forget, and even when you get supposedly money from the government, the $1,200, that money comes from somewhere and is coming from you. And so we need to stop this and allow people to make their own decisions, let them decide which businesses to support. And a lot of people are like me. They would rather go to their mom and pop stores in their own hometown rather than the larger corporations. And you did mention George Floyd. I wanted to mention that I did go to his memorial on Juneteenth. And I believe I'm the only presidential candidate who's gone there so far. And I have met with local Black Lives Matter leader. I mean, not at the national. Of course, the national organization, unfortunately, they see the same problems we see. They see that we need to end qualified immunity. They see that we need to end the drug war, that we need to end no-knock raids. But their solution is bigger government, where the real solution, I'm sure, is smaller government. We don't need to give the government any more power than they already have. And they're the ones who created the problem to begin with.
I couldn't agree with you more. It seems like these long-time established Black organizations like the NAACP, like the National Action Network, et cetera, have done nothing to help the Black community. And their proposal, from what my experience, personal experience has been, is exactly what you said. They want more government, more of government being involved in controlling the issues and dictating what's right and what's wrong, instead of just getting the hell out of our way, you know? And it's like, if that's what's really going to alleviate the problem, why aren't we embracing that, more so, our liberty being respected? But you brought up another key thing that a lot of people on the right seem not to understand, which is that Trump is embracing a lot of socialist policies, especially handing out paychecks to the public. You know, that's essentially what Bernie Sanders and Andrew Yang and the Democratic Party wants to do with universal basic income, et cetera. But as much as you have the people on the right saying they're against welfare and, the nanny state and whatever the hell, they still do support what Trump is doing.
Well, and if you don't mind, I'd like to correct you just a little bit. You said handing out paychecks. I wouldn't call it a paycheck unless they did the work for it. And I would suggest they're getting in the way. If I can tell you a story, I went to New Hampshire. I don't know, the campaign trail, just weeks kind of go, blur together, but maybe 6 weeks ago, whatever. And we went to this delightful restaurant, and it's where libertarians often meet. And the service, now granted, there was a large group of us, but we were broken into smaller groups. And it was like the worst service I'd ever seen at a restaurant. There were 3 of us in a group. 2 of us were completely finished with our dinner before the other person even got his dinner. In fact, we had to leave before he was even served because we had to go to a meeting and we couldn't wait any longer. So I found out later that what the problem is, they had to shut down for COVID, of course. And then when they opened up, because the government was handing out all those checks, something like only 3 of the 25 employees came back. So this poor restaurant owner was having to hire new people and train everybody to try to keep the restaurant going. And so that's just government getting in the way. If instead of handing out the checks, if they had, just stepped aside, the people could have come back to the jobs and they would have been at work and they'd be earning the money and everything would be fine. And I'd like to point out, they were actually making more money staying home than going to their job. So, how can you blame them for doing that? And it's kind of hard to run a business when you can't get your employees back to work.
Yeah, we actually see that happening right now with some of the other states where the median income for households are much lower, and getting $600 a week is pretty damn good for them. That's doubling their income, which used to be maybe $300 or so, $300 or $400. So you're definitely right about that. It's not a paycheck; it's a handout being paid for by we the people, and our actual labor once we are allowed to actually go back to work, which means taxes that are going to be skyrocket high, and people again being nickel and dime at every turn, like what's happening here in California.
Yeah, and we don't know the numbers yet, but I've seen some estimates, so don't quote me on this yet. We got to wait to see how it all falls out. But the $1,200 that each of us gets, some people are predicting that that's going to cost us as much as $15,000 for the $1,200, just to pay in, we've got the middleman, we've got all the bureaucracy in Washington, and then we'll have to pay interest on it because we don't have the money sitting around now. We're going to have to pay interest while we collect it in the future. So we'll wait and see. I'm sure that each person who gets $1,200 is going to cost them a heck of a lot more than $1,200. Probably not 15, but a heck of a lot more than 1,200.
Yeah, and it's sad because a lot of Americans aren't educated on how economics or the economy in America, the dollar, how it all works. And one of the things that attracted me to the Libertarian Party, or should I say one of the people that attracted me to the Libertarian Party, was Dr. Ron Paul. I was a one-time Obama voter back in 2008, and when he dropped the damn ball, immediately by bailing out the banks, a month into his presidency, bailing out AIG, bailing out Sallie Mae, Freddie Mac, etc., doing exactly what he said he wasn't going to do, which was be on the side of the big banks. So it's awful that you have a candidate such as that, But like I said, Dr. Ron Paul drove me into the Libertarian Party, but he talked about the Federal Reserve. That's what really did it for me, was because once he started putting into perspective that, hey, you have a private company actually printing the money, which we, the people, actually pay interest on, and they don't have the authority to do that, it teaches you a lot. And once you kind of dive down that rabbit hole, you find out a lot. And the Libertarian Party promotes a lot of, I guess, that unweaving of that web of deceit, like anti-licensure, etc. So,
yeah. Well, and I've seen numbers that suggest that since the Department of Treasury was first instituted, something like 100 years ago, that we've lost 96% of the dollar.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
And especially what's happening right now with these bailouts, it's inflating the currency. They said that they've printed more money in the past few months than they have in the past 2 centuries.
Oh, so, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, or in the past century. So it's crazy that this amount of money is being created out of thin air very quickly, and it's going to come back to haunt us. So I guess the one thing I want to ask you more so, because I get criticized about this myself, because I am a very adamant defender of my personal freedom, especially my right to travel, which has been compromised by the illegal entity or private entity, goes by the name of the Department of Motor Vehicles, that converts my right to travel into a privilege that I have to now pay a license for. And the Supreme Court has said I don't, So with license to drive, license to have a gun, license to fish, if all of this is also connected to the taxation system and, I guess the Federal Reserve and how our economy is, what would you do as President President Joe Jorgensen to expose what I guess is called the big lie,
Well, regarding guns, no, we don't need any type of registration. In fact, the criminals aren't going to fill out paperwork. So why should law-abiding citizens? And we've got so many cases in which women, especially, who were waiting on their approval for a gun, get killed in the meantime. And as far as having a driver's license, I have no problem with that, because I don't even want to get into that. But that's more of a state issue. What I do not like, though, was that in the 1990s, Elizabeth Dole, when she was transportation secretary, you may not know this, but back in the 70s, 80s, we had states with different driving legal drinking ages. And in fact, I went to school in a place in the state that had a drinking age of 18. So Elizabeth Dole comes along and says, okay, and she kind of dangles her highway money. She's like, okay, we got this highway money from you, but we're not giving it back until you raise your drinking age. Now, you can argue that, yes, a higher drinking age is safer, but my question is, should the federal government be doing that? The federal government doesn't have any right going in and telling the states what to do. And as far as fishing licenses, I would rather have private entities own the lakes, like the Audubon Society or Ducks Unlimited, and let them run it how they want to, rather than the government. I'm sure they do a much better job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially when it comes to conserving the fish that people want to have available, the wild, free fish, instead of it being manufactured and farmed, which is where a lot of our food in the grocery store comes from. People look at their, food as genetically modified or, like I said, farmed, etc. But I guess when it comes to licensure and its issuance to an individual, it's a monetization of their right, their natural rights as human beings. So it's a slippery slope when we're supposed to be free individuals and have natural rights that aren't being coveted by the government and being dictated by the government. We're essentially property if we're being told what we can do, when we can do it, and how we can do it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, I think government is too big at all levels. And that's what I'm running on. Like I said, the worst part is they make problems worse. It's, the only thing that I think that government should be in charge of is police, courts, and military. And even then, they're botching it up a little bit. You know what? Maybe if that's all they did, they could do it well. But they can't do it well when they're trying to get into every little business, like you said, fishing licenses.
Yeah, exactly. Every facet of your life, what I mean? They want to dictate every aspect of what you do, from what job you go to now with this whole coronavirus provisions. People are being denied work simply because either they don't want to wear a mask or, are wearing the mask and are compromising their own health because of it or something.
Well, yeah. And the thing with the mask, the government acts like if they don't tell us to wear masks, we won't wear masks. And we saw with Walmart, Walmart put out a policy saying, if you want to shop in our store, you need to wear a mask. Okay, great. So if you're vulnerable, if you've got an illness, or you just feel more comfortable being around other people who wear masks and you want to wear a mask, great. You can shop at Walmart. If you don't want to wear a mask, then you don't have to shop at Walmart. You can shop somewhere else. But what the government does is they give us a one size fits all. Everybody has to do this or everybody has to do that. And then nobody's happy. So why not have individuals make their own choices? And I saw this on the local news. I saw this flight attendant talking about, she was saying, I wish the FDA would pass a law. And this was before, not the FDA, I'm sorry, the FAA. This was before the FAA passed the law. But she said, I wish the FAA would pass a law saying that everybody has to wear masks on airplanes. And I thought, well, you know what? Your CEO can do that. The president of the airlines can say, okay, if you're going to fly on our airline, you have to wear a mask. And then some airlines have masks and some don't, and you fly on the one you want, just like at Walmart. So somehow we've got this, we've just got this idea that we need the government to be our mom and dad, and that we're not going to do the right thing if they don't tell us to.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. People not thinking for themselves, independently thinking, and basically being dictated by the government when to do it, what to do it, and how to do it. And they, for some reason, are open to that concept simply because they think that government is doing it in their best interest. But like you said, when they're in control of things, you don't really see much accomplishment, much benefit, especially with this type of administration where they are looking at more so as control as being a tool necessary right now in order to get us on the straight and narrow. So,
and you're right. And that's the difference between us and them, which us meaning the Libertarian Party, is they are after power. They want to tell us, how to run our schools. They have a Department of Education in in Washington to tell every locality in the entire country how to run their schools. They want to run our healthcare. They want to run our retirement system. They want to run everything. The Libertarian Party says, you know what, you should be able to make your own choices. And one of the problems we have right now, a lot of people ask me why we're so polarized. And I think one of the problems is that we do have a one size fits all. So if you want your child to go to a school with prayer and your neighbor doesn't, you guys have to battle it out. You have to, donate money to your candidates, put out yard signs, go and vote. And then one of you is going to win and one of you is going to lose. And somebody's not going to be happy, as opposed to, instead of having the Department of Education, instead of having everybody follow the same rules, how about we keep our own money and we decide what we want for our children? And if there's a strong need for something, somebody will go out there and offer it.
Right, exactly. Now, and that's the one thing, is as attractive as the libertarian platform is, you would think more people would sign on to it, especially since, the majority of, I guess, the faith-based people in this country believe in the golden rule: live and let live, respect others, treat others how you want to be treated. But you don't see that happening much.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And I've got good news for you, actually, that something like 75% of our volunteers are from outside the Libertarian Party. So I think people, especially after the virus, they realize that, okay, government has just gotten way too powerful. And so now they're saying we want a real difference. And of course, we keep hearing people say, what's the choice? We've got two old rich white men who both want to spend our money and neither one want to bring the troops home. What's the difference? And so people really are looking for a different choice this time. So we hope that they look our way. And I noticed you had my website below. I'd like to say it again. It's jo20.com. That's jo20.com. And one thing that I haven't talked about is, there it goes right there. Thank you. Yeah. One thing I'd like to say is, I would like to bring our troops home and turn America into one giant Switzerland, armed and neutral. There's no reason for us to be supporting the military in, let's say, France and Germany. In fact, we keep hearing people say we need to be like France. We need 5-week vacations. Well, yeah, maybe the reason they get 5-week vacations is because we're paying for some of their military. Maybe if we only defended our country, we could have longer vacations. And then also being in the Middle East, that's just causing more problems than it's solving.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is expanding. And I'll just tell you straightforward, I'll vote for you. I'm going to vote for you based off of your platform, based off of your principles. But there is one aspect of, I guess, voting that a lot of people don't really consider, especially when it comes to the Libertarian Party, because the popular vote is very important. Getting people's attention, turning their heads towards what we have to offer, what the Libertarian Party has to offer. And I must say that when I first met you, I didn't really think that you had that in you. Just characteristically, you don't really seem to be a person that, is very warm, I would say. First time we met, you probably don't even remember this, but we were on the elevator and you didn't even say anything to me. But
when and where was that?
That was at the California convention. So afterwards, I actually seen you on stage and you were debating, and I heard you debate. And you also was more so speaking about how you wanted to grow the party versus actually winning. And people want to vote for a winner. That's what's the inspiration, So now that you are the nominee and you have this responsibility on your shoulders to attract people, not only to the Libertarian Party, but hopefully get them to vote for you so you can become the next president, how will you win the popular vote?
Well, first of all, you don't have to win the popular vote. You only need to win the Electoral College. But let me apologize for not saying hello to you on the elevator. I normally am a really nice person. That's what people tend to say about me. But I don't know if I thought that you didn't want to be bothered, or, I don't like to intrude on people. I've been told maybe I'm a little too polite. But I am not saying right now that I don't think I ever said I don't plan to win. But of course, the goal, and as an industrial psychologist, I know that even difficult or impossible goals are very motivating. So absolutely, I'm trying to win. After all, look at what happened in 2016. Now, I realize the chances are still slim, but I still think we need to grow the movement. And I think we can do both. We can still we can grow the movement. Well, put it this way, we have to grow the movement in order to have somebody elected as president. We need somebody out there who is gathering up support. And like I said, I'm so happy that so many of our volunteers are from outside the party. I think that's showing that people are viewing me as an alternative. And that's what we need. We need to show people that we're a real alternative. And one of the things I've heard is, well, but I a wasted vote, right? If I vote for you, the other guy's going to win. Well, I've been telling people, first of all, if you're in a state that's either, deep red or deep blue, your vote is going to be wasted voting for the winner anyway. Like, I'm in South Carolina. It's a very red state. We were one of only 6 states to carry Bob Dole in 1996. So it doesn't matter who they put on the ballot. South Carolina is going to vote for the Republican nominee, in this case, Trump. So I would say, if you don't want bigger government, if you don't want Trump telling you to stay at home, if you don't want Trump, keeping masks or keeping testing kits from being sold, you're wasting your vote voting for Trump, because he's going to win South Carolina anyway. So why not vote for what you really want? Same in California. You're wasting your vote if you're voting for Trump, or you're wasting your vote if you're voting for Biden and you're not thrilled about Biden, because Biden's going to win California anyway. Mm-hmm. So why not vote for what you really want and let them know? And last, I'd like to point out that we're not going to really be heard until we're in the debates. And I'd like to ask your viewers that if a pollster calls them and asks them, who are you voting for president? Even if you're leaning towards voting for me, please tell them you're voting for me so I can get to 15%, so I can be on that debate stage, because that's the only way to have an alternative. And Gary Johnson got to 13.6%. So, we just need a little more and we can get up to 15% and hopefully show a real option.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, I guess that's what I mean. So more so by winning the popular vote is when they run these polls. And again, when it comes to the masses being motivated to get out there, get up off their asses and go to the voting booths, and vote different to change the system versus doing the same damn thing, that is something that the Libertarian Party has to take into consideration, which is why personality-wise, you got to get more people, I guess, when it comes to candidates that are going to do that. So yep. Trump is whatever the hell he is, a reality TV star, whatever you want to call him. And then you got Biden, who was basically Obama's puppet. So that's how he got his popularity. So I don't mean to disrespect you by saying, as far as your personality is concerned, but to me, you're more so like, if I was to go to the library, you're like that librarian people see that they wave to, but they never remember her name, you see? And that's what's important.
Yeah, well, let me mention, I've had a few people ask me if I can handle Trump on stage if I get in the debates. And I point out that I'm a teacher and I've had a lot of experience with problem students. So I will have no problem at all. And I did fairly well in the California debate, so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you came out of nowhere. You pretty much shocked the hell out of me, because I was a Berman supporter Taxation is theft. And then you had the Vermin Supreme team out there doing the damn thing. You even beat out, long established Republicans who jumped on the team, or Democrats, or whatever the hell, Chaffee and other people. But anyways, we're not going to talk about them because it's all about you, Dr. Joe. And I do want to talk to you about a few other things, because we do have other questions on the slated.
Yeah,
I know you
let me mention, I do have a rally. The bus is outside. They're setting up the microphones now. However, and I was supposed to only be here for 20 minutes. However, I got here late, so I wanted to make it up to you and stay a little later. But I can stay for a couple more questions, but I do need to start getting ready for the rally that, the people are starting to come out there.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. So I'll just get straight to the point then, because I am being asked this because I guess when it comes to both the Republicans and the Democrats wanting to covet the supposed black vote, they've already staked their claim. You got Trump saying he's the greatest thing that ever happened to black people since Abraham Lincoln. And then you got Biden's dumbass straight up just saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So I'm going to just lay it out there.
Charlemagne, that Charlemagne interview was just, and that's, what? He showed his true self. And that's what Democrats have been thinking for decades. They just weren't stupid enough to say it out loud. And finally, somebody said it out loud. But Hillary, she expected to get as many black voters as Obama did. She didn't work for it. She didn't go out to all these rallies and work for it. So that just shows that they were just, taking it for granted is the word I'm looking for.
You're right about that. So with that said, I mean, I have a black audience who would like a few questions answered, especially when it comes to lots of discussions made by both the right and the left. So you got the Democrats offering reparations and et cetera, Black Lives Matter. And then on the right, you got them supporting gun rights. And that has been something that has restricted Black Americans, because the majority of the Black people that have been shot and killed by police officers were believed to have a gun. But yet you have Black Lives Matter protesters, people like Rocket Man out there in Missouri, who's got a bazooka, and police don't fuck with him because he's white, And so there comes this dynamic of how Black people would like to have the Black agenda, which is basically just equality. Doesn't mean better than, doesn't mean more superior than, just basically means equality, level playing field. And as a libertarian, that's what I let them know, is it has the opportunity to provide that. So I don't want to make that claim. I want you to speak on that if you could. What should Black people do, or why should Black people vote for you?
Well, as I mentioned, it was the government that caused these problems to begin with. And my heart breaks that they are going to the very people who put them in the spot. And one thing that I like to point out, and I might have pointed this out in California, which is we all know about the heroic story of Rosa Parks, Black woman who refused to sit in the back of the bus. What a lot of people don't realize is that was a government-run, government-owned bus. The government could get away with it. And what's more interesting is at the time, 60% of the ridership were Blacks. So imagine today, if Uber were to discriminate against the majority of their customers. They should go out of business, or they would go out of business as well, they should. But the government doesn't go out of business. They can discriminate and they can do anything they want, and they're not held accountable. So one thing we have to do is just get government smaller, because when people work with each other, when people serve each other, we do a much better job than the government. And just to give you a semi-related story, one of my favorite stories is that is if you look back in, well, first of all, the Libertarian Party has been saying that we should have gay marriage since 1972. And if you look at the Walt Disney Company, in the early 90s, they started handing out benefits to partners of their gay employees. Now, marriage wasn't legal back then, but they still, again, it's a private company. They want the best employees, and so they treated them right, and they offered benefits to their gay partners. Now, spring ahead 20 years to 2012, we've got Obama and Hillary Clinton both saying that they were against gay marriage because they're not interested in the rights of individuals. They're interested in votes. But if you're a company, you have to work to get customers, you have to work to get the best employees, and you're going to treat people fairly in order to get them on your side. So I hope that's, I think we've been on for about 30 minutes. I hope that answers most of your questions.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, as far as the Black vote is considered, I do have one more because it may be instrumental in that. And that's, do you put raisins in your potato salad? Because that's extremely important to Black people.
I love raisins. I put raisins on my salad. I actually don't eat potato salad though, but I put raisins, when I make a lettuce salad, like lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff, I put raisins in that salad.
All right, cool. Don't put it in your potato salad though. FYI. That's like a Black people no. But well, Dr. Joe Jorgensen, I appreciate you being here on the Black Side of Liberty and committing as much time to answer my wacky, crazy questions, because none of my guests ever know what I'm going to say. So I appreciate you for being such a wonderful guest.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And again, thank you for your flexibility. I really appreciate that.
A pleasure, and enjoy the rally. Woo, go Dr. Joe.
Well, thank you. We'll talk to you later.
All right, go Joe.
Bye.
All right, you guys, that again was Dr. Joe Jorgensen, Libertarian presidential candidate of the United States of America. If you want to find out more about her, head over to joe20.com. If any of the questions that she answered here was not answered, then hopefully you'll be able to find that answer on her website. Like John Joseph Malinger, who says, what do you plan to do for veterans? I didn't get a chance to ask her that question, and I don't think she was able to answer that in detail during our discussion. But like I said, John, if you want to head over to joe20.com, hopefully there's a answer for you there on her website, or you could just reach out to her team, which I'm pretty sure she wouldn't mind getting an answer to you in some way or another. But like I said, I'm going to be voting for Dr. Joe Jorgensen, since she definitely represents a better idea of what we the people, what I want from, the American government. And that's a less intrusive government. That's one that won't tax me, and one that's going to allow me to live freely as God put me on this planet to do. As long as I'm not hurting anybody else and I'm being peaceful, that's what we should be free to do as human beings. Free to live, free to have free choice, free will. One thing that's not being exercised right now and that's being suppressed is our free will as individuals. So if you want to, again, get away from all of the control, vote Dr. Joe Jorgensen. All right, John says she's got my vote already as well. That's good to hear. And Casey Atkins says, join the Joe and Spike Respectable Q&A group here on Facebook. We've got some sources there too. So Casey Atkins says, join the Q&A group on Facebook because they can answer your questions if you aren't able to get any of your other questions answered here during the program. I know I asked about reparations. She didn't really drop much about that. So if you guys want to find out more about that, you're going to have to contact her directly. But like I said, I appreciate her for being here on the Black Side of Liberty, as well as all of you viewers out there, all of you that drop questions and comments during the show. Please definitely be sure to come back to the Black Side of Liberty, because I'm going to be doing this again with her vice presidential candidate, Spike Cohen, who will be back here on the Black Side of Liberty this Thursday, August 6th. So please come back to the Black Side of Liberty, all my beings of light, art, culture, and knowledge out there, because if you didn't get any questions answered by the presidential candidate herself, maybe you'll be able to get that answered by the VP candidate, Spike Cohen, who will be here on the Black Side of Liberty on Thursday. So definitely come back for that. Also, of course, if you haven't heard, right here on the Black Side of Liberty, or Governor Wildstar channel on YouTube. If you aren't subscribe to my YouTube channel, definitely please be sure to do so now. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can check out Crystal's Healing Arts, who will be right here from now on every Wednesday. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So Crystal, my wife, Lady Wildstar, she is a psychic and psychic of the stars, Lady Wildstar, and intuitive therapist, healer, all that good stuff. If you want to talk to her, ask her a question about your love life, your health, the coronavirus thing, the end of the world, the starting of the new world, any of that stuff, be sure to jump in on the Crystal Room this Wednesday, every Wednesday, on the Governor Wildstar YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And also on her Facebook channel, which is Crystal Healing Arts, crystalshealingarts.com. Like it says at the top, check that out. Please do. All right. And like I said, she'll be here on Wednesday. So you definitely want to come back tomorrow if you want to talk to her. That's her forte, her specialty. Not really my cup of tea, but I definitely support anything and everything that she does, because she's extremely talented and has helped me in many ways. But if you would like a little help from her, be sure to check that out. And also be sure to vote Libertarian, of course. We spoke to Dr. Jo Jorgensen about her campaign to be the president of the United States of America as a Libertarian. But right now, if you want to help her, if you haven't had your state primary yet, wherever you are, if it's been pushed back due to the coronavirus lockdown and you haven't had your primary yet, please definitely vote Jo Jorgensen to help her get that percentage so she can have an opportunity to be heard in the presidential debates in September next month. That's what we want. We want to let her speak. Hashtag let her speak. Check that out. Hashtag let her speak. Give Dr. Jo Jorgensen an opportunity to be on that debate stage for president of the United States of America. But by voting for Jo Jorgensen, you're also going to help every other state or candidate on the ballot in your state that has trouble with ballot issues, because every year Libertarian candidates have a difficult time getting on the ballot. So they have to collect signatures, et cetera, et cetera. They just make it hard as hell for us to get heard. So if you want to give them a chance, a fighting chance, then be sure to vote Libertarian. Help the other candidates that are running for office wherever you are be able to have access. Libertarians always been coming in third consistently. Okay, the third largest party in the United States of America. At some point, you're going to have a Libertarian mayor, governor, and even president. So get on bandwagon now, not later. Vote Libertarian. Help the Libertarians rise to fame and fortune and to freedom and liberty and justice for all. We can do it. We all got to do it together. Speaking of freedom and liberty and justice for all, please definitely check out this recall Gavin2020.com. Help the people of California get free of this tyrannical leader by the name of Gavin Newsom. Awful guy. Check him out. Ever since he's been in power or been in office, he has raised taxes. Homelessness has went up. You have businesses going out of business that are never coming out. They're coming back again. But his business, which is a winery and several other businesses with the Getty family, still continue to rake in profits during this pandemic panic. So check out recallgavin2020.com. Here's the website. If you guys haven't been over to the website, please check it out now, recallgavin2020.com. You have everything set up beautifully for you to where you can download and sign a petition. Has about 5 or 10 slots. Sign those. Have some family and friends sign that petition and then send that right back to the P.O. box that is on that petition. Also, they have an opportunity for you to find out more about the county that you're in for local offices. So if you need a local place to where you can go to sign that signature, if you can't print it out, you can just find one, click on whatever city or county that you're in, and then you'll be able to find coordinators and local places where you can sign that petition. Also, has an area where you can take action right here on calendar events. You can do all sorts of stuff under take action. You got a calendar of events where you can get involved, sign up as a volunteer, all of this good stuff, do it yourself graphics. But I want to send your attention to this take action calendar events, because these are all of the local events where you can sign a petition to recall Gavin Newsom near you. A lot of people ask me, well, where can I sign? What's going on near me with the recall? This is a great place for you to find out. Take action, calendar events right here. Scroll down, find the date that you want. For instance, August 8th, right here, you got the Ventura Peaceful Protest this Saturday that I will be at the Promenade Park in Ventura. With the We Have Rights organization. Check it out at We Have Rights Corporation, wehaverights.com if you want to get involved with We Have Rights, which I'm a part of. So we definitely are looking to become a very instrumental, nonpartisan, nonprofit organization that are fighting to restore the constitutional rights for every American living in California. So please definitely visit wehaverights.com. Join in the organization. Donate if you don't want to join in but want to support us grow. We were very instrumental in mobilizing tens of thousands of people during the reopen protest in Huntington Beach, Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Diego, etc. earlier back in May. But now we want to do it again to support this recall for Gavin Newsom. So like I said, come on out to the peaceful protest this Saturday in Ventura if you're in the neighborhood. And also, if you haven't heard by now, like I told you guys before, I was a previous political candidate for California governor, and I would love to run for governor again. It would be my third and final run for governor if given the opportunity. I have one who's about to be 1 year alive, my son Chancellor, and I just want to focus more time on my son and my family, you know what I'm saying? But I would love to have an opportunity to serve we the people as a public representative, you know, and like I said, give libertarianism a shot. So if we can recall Gavin Newsom successfully, I would definitely be running for governor of California sooner, but if not, it'll be in 2022. So I'm fundraising right now for that campaign. My goal is $10,000. I think I'm at about $1,300 so far. So please send over whatever amount that you can. The Republican is a well-funded machine, and so is the Democrats. We already know that. We know they're bought out by, big banks. We know that they have large donors and special interest groups that keep them in power. How are we going to fight that power? Power with power. If they got all the money and we want to get money out of politics, we got to throw all our money behind somebody who is going to actually get money out of politics. And that would definitely be me. I could care less about the money, care more about serving as a public representative for you, we the people. So please check me out, crowdpack.com/C/Wildstar, 4 Gov, G-O-V. I appreciate again all of you that have contributed so far to not only my new campaign for California governor, but like I said, to also my activism. I'm not one that is out here trying to get rich, sell t-shirts. And, if you want to do that, that's fine. If you want to, sell shirts and, tour around and be in fancy hotels and all of that, you got people out there to do that. I'm not one of those individuals. You know, I am authentic in doing exactly what I say. I run my shit on a shoestring budget, and will continue to. You know, Jorgensen, candidate that you just saw, she actually won her nomination on a little over $40,000, I believe. Meanwhile, you had Adam Kokesh, another candidate who ran for president of the Libertarian Party. He spent over $100,000, nearly $200,000, I believe, and he didn't win. You see, so money doesn't get you to win. It just gives you an opportunity to be heard, so you can now accelerate on that path towards success. That's what I want to do. That's what Dr. Joe Jorgensen has done. So please head on over to my website, governorwildstar.com. Click on donate and, send over whatever you can, please. Casey Atkins drops a link, says https facebook.com. Oh, that's the Facebook link right there. Yeah. So if you guys see that, definitely connect with the group more. If you have any more questions, thank you, Casey, Rick, John, Peter, that one dude, Sean, Westmore Holmes, another John, Malinger, Myra, and Nicole. Thank you all for all of your comments and questions. And to any and all of you out there that didn't get an opportunity to say anything, please, like I said, come on back to the Black Side of Liberty. I'll be back this Thursday speaking with the vice presidential candidate, Spike Cohen. So till next time, you guys, long live liberty. Have a wonderful night. Peace. I'm up out this bitch. Hold on.